Hello, everyone. We're really excited to be here with you today. So we are McKinsey. Can we get a quick roll call of who is here and what schools you're from? Feel free to just type it into the chat box here and we'll call you out. Rep your school. Any takers? I'll go first. All right. Hi, Michelle, University of Pitt. Kennesaw State, Leslie, George Washington, Wake Forest, U Michigan, Fordham, Clark Atlanta, University of Delaware, San Fran State, U Miami, Alabama, University of Maryland, Bethune-Cookman. Awesome. So great to see you all here. We have a few great people representing McKinsey, and we really wanted to have this session be a really informal way to connect with you all, so you can learn a little bit more about the firm, consulting in general, and we'll leave some time towards the end for any questions that you all may have, and that's actually where we want to spend the most of the time, answering any questions that you have about the firm, about our upcoming FDLA event for freshmen who are interested in spending a day and a half with us out in Norwalk, Connecticut. The deadline for that is actually coming up March 11th. But without further ado, I'm actually going to let us dive into the presentation. I'm going to introduce my colleagues who are here with me as well. Sasha, if you want to go ahead and click to the next slide that has our information on it so that we can begin connecting with our students here.
Great, so I can go first. I'm Alex Brenya. I'm an associate in the Stamford, Connecticut office. I went to Tufts University for my undergrad, and then I went to Wharton at UPenn for grad school. And I have been an associate at McKinsey for about a year and a half now, so well into my experience at McKinsey.
All right, I guess I'll go next. My name is Nick Noel, and I am an associate out of the DC office. I went to Boston College undergrad. Hopefully there's some Eagles today. And I actually pursued a dual master's in economics as well as my MBA between Johns Hopkins and Northwestern. I started at the firm, I just graduated, so very, very close to being a student. And I started with the firm this past fall.
Awesome. I don't think we have Ken with us today, but he may dial in a little bit later. Sasha, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hey, everyone. My name is Sasha Richards, and I am a senior recruiter who sits in our Stamford, Connecticut office, not Stanford with an N, but Stanford with an M. I am super excited to be on the call today, and I hope to one day get to meet most of you in person, either on campus or talk to you via phone. My current role at the firm, and I've been with the firm for going on 17 years this coming April, is I focus on diversity recruiting. So I help support the firm in hiring Black, Hispanic, Latino, North America. Thank you.
Great, awesome. And lastly, I'm Erica Grant. I am the diversity recruiter for BA across, or business analyst across North America. And I look forward to learning a little bit more about you all and opening up this awesome event to engage and connect. So without further ado, I'm gonna pass it off to Nick to go ahead and take us into our presentation today.
All right, great. Thank you, Erica. So first, I want to just take a quick step back and just tell you all about who we are as a firm. So McKinsey is the largest consulting partnership with about 12,000 consultants, of which about 1,600 are partners. But that also that number does not include our support staff, as well as 1,800 knowledge professionals and experts that work in areas as diverse as graphics to research and help support team members as we do our work. We're located basically everywhere. We have 100 locations in over 60 countries, with nearly half in emerging markets. One of my favorite parts of the firm is the backgrounds of all the folks. So about 45% of McKinsey's incoming class is BAs, and 20% of the remainder are professional advanced degree holders, experienced professionals, and 30% are MBAs. So the firm is incredibly diverse in terms of age, sexual orientation, leadership styles and cultures. Folks fill out their personality profiles to kind of get an understanding of what they're like on a personality level. So when you're coming into McKinsey, you're really meeting just a wide swath of people because the firm really looks for the best talent. Sasha, keep the next slide. So our scope and our scale, 12,000 consultants with about an equal amount in support staff across a really large geography, gives us the scale to do an incredible amount of different types of work. And so at McKinsey, what you'll find is we do three things. We work on problems that matter. Two, we deliver sustainable solutions and build lasting relationships with our clients. And three, we're constantly learning and growing. In terms of the problems that we work on, McKinsey works with about the largest companies globally. So we have relationships with about 93 of them. But we also work with a number of small businesses, about 450 relationships. In terms of our client relationships, we work side by side with them. Currently, I'm at a client in the Connecticut area in financial services, working on a transformation. And on the learning and growth side, the firm really invests not only in its consultants, so we spend about $100 million a year just in developing our leaders, but we also invest in knowledge. So McKinsey periodically will put out different types of research and insights from our work and our research that cover the whole gamut of the industries that we work with, as well as the functions that we are a part of. And so that's what you'll be doing. That's what you'll be joining as a new BA if you decide to join. Next slide. So just to add a little bit of color to that, McKinsey, one of the best parts about McKinsey is actually what it's like after you leave. We have an incredible amount of successful CEOs. If you take a look at this page here, you'll see a lot of familiar companies and maybe some familiar faces as well, from the private sector to the public sector, really every major industry and sector. Some of my favorites are favorite McKinsey alumni are Susan Rice, who was a national security advisor in the Obama administration. We have the Sheryl Sandberg of Facebook. A lot of folks doing work in startups as well. So a lot of those folks got the skills that they were able to use to succeed at McKinsey: the analytical and conceptual problem-solving skills, and the work experience here working on the most challenging problems. Next, great. So, and so it's not simply about kind of the skills that you'll be developing here, but it's also about the impact. I share just one story about kind of the impact that we have as a firm in one of the projects that we've done. Sasha, the next slide. So in 2013, we partnered with the Red Cross following Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines. One of our BAs at the time and his McKinsey team worked with the Red Cross and their volunteers to improve planning and management, logistics, and process and monitoring of the recovery effort, which ended up helping to increase daily food and supply distribution rates by 300%. We have another really wonderful example working with health organizations within the public sector, as well as NGO sector in Nigeria, and eradicating polio in that country as well. So the scale of the breadth of our expertise and the scale that we bring to bear on a number of different issues allows us to provide an incredible amount of impact on the problems that we choose to pursue, and you can be a part of that as early as you start. So another interesting thing about McKinsey is how it's evolved. The firm is about 90 years old, or close to that. It's evolved from the traditional strategy consulting and moved towards delivering value in a number of different ways. Currently, so we have a number of different solutions that we provide, as well as the types of organizations that we work with are becoming smaller as well. The current client that I'm working with, we're utilizing this incredible project management tool called Wave that helps us keep track of initiatives across a 30-person team and a $300 million transformation, and you'll be deploying those tools and using those skills to deliver value with the clients as soon as you walk in. Next slide. So in terms of the solutions that we provide, there'll be a number of different things, from advanced analytics to organizational tools, but we'll also be not just simply providing the strategies that used for recommendations, but also helping folks implement the solutions as well. Going back to my current study, we've worked with a client to identify a strategy for them to transform their business. Currently, the phase that I'm in right now is helping them do a bottom-up planning phase, which is working with a number of different business units to come up with ideas for revenue opportunities as well as cost-saving efficiencies. But over the next 6 to 18 months, we'll be actually helping them implement the solutions all the way through the next couple years to capture all that value. So the types of work aren't simply recommendations, all the way through delivering the impact as well. And so I think I'll pass it actually off to Alex to talk about inclusion and partnerships.
Great. And one of the things that Nick mentioned earlier is really kind of inclusion at McKinsey. And it's not just kind of a program or something that you touch into every so often. It's kind of at the core of what McKinsey is and what they respect. So the firm is really committed to providing the best environment to enable and encourage everyone to kind of bring their own selves to work every day. And this is kind of shown through actions every day, as well as 6 formal diversity groups: McKinsey Women, GLAM, which was the gay and lesbian at McKinsey Network, Black Network, the Hispanic Latino Network, Asian and the Asian American consultants, and veterans at McKinsey, all of which provide mentorship and professional development connectivity, and also an opportunity to connect with consultants from all over the firm. So for example, I participate in McKinsey Women and also in the McKinsey Hispanic Latino Network. And both of those things have been a really great opportunity to connect with a larger group of consultants at the firm, not just kind of within my office and within my region. And it's also been a really great way for me to become more involved in recruiting. So at McKinsey, as a business analyst, which is the role that you would join after undergrad full-time, life can be very different depending on what projects you're on, what you're doing. But I think that fundamentally at a high level, there are a few things that are always going to be true. So one is that you're going to be supported by a variety of people. Some are going to be mentors and colleagues in the office that you're a part of. Some are going to be the people that you're working with on your project teams. And some are going to be the people and the friends that you've met through the various training programs that McKinsey offers throughout your tenure there. The other thing is you're going to have a huge opportunity to grow. So I think in my first year and a half at McKinsey, I probably participated in 4 or 5 different types of training. So things from, client relationship training to developing the skill sets needed for my first year and a half on the job, to even trainings that help me think about how I can be better at the things that are really important to me around work. And so that's something that I really enjoyed being a part of while working here. And the third thing is you'll always have a ton of opportunities and flexibility to create your own path. So you'll find pretty quickly working here through all the different experiences that you have that you are naturally attracted to certain types of work, to certain industries. And McKinsey really allows you the flexibility to both continue working in those areas and get more experience, but also the opportunity to really get experience in a variety of things as well. So, you might want to spend a few months working on, media and entertainment or insurance, but then decide that you actually want to try something else out, and McKinsey gives you a lot of the flexibility to do that. And so a lot of people ask how they'll work at McKinsey, but I think a lot of other the questions that come up are going to be, what skills are you going to bring to the table joining McKinsey from undergrad? And I think it's really important to remember that a lot of the skills that you're learning right now in your classes, through your interactions, are extremely valuable at McKinsey, and around 15% of our colleagues come directly from undergraduate programs. So in the classes that you're in, you'll be developing an intellectual curiosity and solving problems, and that help. And at McKinsey, that's going to help you understand your clients' strengths and challenges and the situations they're facing, and help them problem solve around that with a new perspective. It's also going to help you conduct research and analyze data and develop recommendations using kind of those core analytical skills that you might have picked up in some of your classes. I'm sure in both classes and then also in clubs that you might be involved in, you have a lot of experiences with leadership and teamwork, and that's going to help in kind of the day-to-day teams that you're working with, but also in helping convince your clients to take action. And then also, as you've gone through high school and college, you've definitely gotten a perspective on growing your expertise and kind of diving into areas that you might want to learn more in, and how you gain that additional knowledge. And that's going to help you inform your hypotheses and solutions and get credibility with your clients quickly in terms of showing that intellectual curiosity. So while a lot of BAs enter on the generalist path, there's also a half dozen opportunities to join specific practices. And these roles give you the ability to develop a more specialist skill set and get deeper in a certain area that you might know that you already have an interest in. So one of those areas is digital McKinsey, which you might have previously heard of as business technology. And this really is thinking about the strategic business solutions and problems that have technology solutions. So this is, everything from IT infrastructure, but also on big data, digital enablement. I worked on a digital McKinsey project where we helped a client develop an app that was going to help them better decode some of their financial statements, and really worked really closely with the digital team to develop that. One of those practices can be operations, which is basically where you would be blending strategic thinking with hands-on practicality to implement operational strategies. So a lot of the topics that come up in this practice are manufacturing, product development, and service operations. Corporate finance is based in New York, and they do corporate finance work. So a lot of your projects will focus on working with the company's finances. The topics there would include valuation, transaction support, and capital markets. Risk is also goes kind of hand in hand with corporate finance and is also based in New York, doing a mix of risk and risk projects and other things. Then there's also marketing and sales, which would work across a variety of functions, including B2B, customer loyalty, digital marketing, sales and channel management. And so if you know that you already have a passion for marketing and sales, this might be a great practice to kind of learn more about. And private equity is based in New York and Boston, and it's a mix of due diligence and then also doing work for portfolio companies. So, you know, while you might know that you want to go in and kind of get that broad generalist skill set, if you know that you have an interest in these areas, it's definitely worth looking into, and please reach out to us and we can put you in touch with someone that could speak a little bit more to them. So one of the things that you all are probably very curious about is the journey of being a business analyst at McKinsey, because as we've mentioned, there's lots of different paths and lots of different things that you can become involved in. As a BA, you're going to be learning and doing a variety of things. As a summer business analyst or a full-time BA, you would help your team leading organizations to address their toughest challenges, as all consultants at McKinsey do. You'd also be focusing on your development and building that toolkit of skills that are going to serve you really well. So kind of getting feedback to kind of further improve your strengths, but also work on some of your skill gaps, and attend extensive training. Then as a senior BA, so once you have a little bit more experience, you have an expanded set of opportunities around the kind of the projects that you're working on and the things that you can get involved in. So you'll see a lot of second year and above business analysts look into international office transfers, either full-time or temporarily for a period of time. Looking into practice and new venture rotations, so the practice areas that we mentioned before, and also a variety of new venture areas that McKinsey has invested in, which can be a really good opportunity to kind of get more of a startup feel while you're here. And then also McKinsey Global Institute, so the area of McKinsey that's really working on solving kind of the world's problems as opposed to business problems. I'll pass it over to Erica to speak a little bit more to the SDLI program.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Alex. So quick shout out in our chat box. How many of you all are sophomores? Any sophomores out there? All right, well, if you're in hiding, that's all right. So we have a program called our Sophomore Diversity Leaders Internship Program. It's open to sophomores, and you can definitely check out the program and learn a little bit more about it coming in the fall. The opportunity is more of a hands-on experience. It is an 8 to 10 week internship with McKinsey at across any of our offices here in the US, and we'll talk a little bit more about the office locations as well. Oh yes, I'm seeing lots of sophomores. Great, awesome. Yeah, so this program could be a really great fit for you if you're looking for something to do either the upcoming summer. We did pass the deadline for this summer, but there's always an opportunity to learn a little bit more about our summer BA program as well when you matriculate to your junior year. But even for freshmen currently who are looking for summer internship opportunities their sophomore year, SDLI could be a really great program for you. Again, really great hands-on experience. You're pretty much treated like a consultant or business analyst once you join the team. And that's the really neat thing about this program is that you get the hands-on exposure. You have some client-facing opportunities as well. You have mentors throughout the program and tons of training, both on the technical and soft skill side. So we're really helping you to develop your consulting toolkit so that eventually when you do come to McKinsey full-time, you are already aware of, what you need to do to be a top performer, and also how to connect and engage with your peers and other professionals within the firm. We will share more information about SDLI. Again, if we have your email addresses, we'll definitely be reaching out. And if you have any specific questions about SDLI, we can chat about that as well. The other opportunity that I'll share is actually for freshmen. It's called our Freshman Diversity Leaders Academy that's coming up April 6th through the 7th. And the deadline to apply for this program is actually this Sunday, March 11th. It's a 1.5-day event where you are getting deeper exposure to McKinsey and consulting, and again, building your consulting toolkit. We'll share more information. Actually, it's on the slide here. So if you want to follow that link, to apply directly for FDLI. Again, the deadline is this Sunday, and we'd love to see you come through. It's going to be hosted in Norwalk, Connecticut, at the Commons, if any of you all are familiar. But we're really excited about this program and this opportunity for freshmen. It's in its second year, so it's a really great way to kind of kickstart your professional development, especially if you're interested or even just curious about consulting in general. I think we had skipped a few slides, but that's fine. Any other topics or anything else that you want to add from personal experience, Alex or Nick?
So I think a little bit, I know that one of the biggest questions that I had when I was thinking about joining McKinsey and looking more into it was kind of what, with all of this variation in terms of the different types of projects that you can do, the different kind of work that you can do. One of my biggest questions was, but what do you actually do every day? What does your day look like? And I think that, Sasha, if you want to flip to the day in the life of a BA page, I can just speak a little bit more to that. So one of the really nice things about McKinsey is because there is, you are oftentimes traveling and doing work on clients. There is a lot of focus around making sure that you're optimizing the day kind of for your own preferences and a lot of conversations around what your own personal working style is. So I know that for the teams that I'm on, I often express that, I do a lot of my best work early in the morning, but I do like to kind of carve out a few hours for myself in the evening because I find that I'm the least productive there. It's when I like to get my workouts in. I'm an introvert, so I like to kind of go home and eat sometimes by myself or just have that time not in a room with working with a lot of other people. So the day here that's described here is kind of a typical day. You'll always kind of start and end your day around a team check-in where you can align on your priorities for the day with your engagement manager and kind of make sure that everyone is aligned on kind of what the goals are. Then you might have any kind of variety of things. So a lot of times my days are split in between meetings with clients, either where I'm problem solving a problem that they might have, helping them work through a model that they're building, presentations to clients. So, either very informal presentations, like a daily stand-up where we're sharing details of kind of upcoming events and running a roll call of what people have been working on, or a more formal presentation where you're presenting to an executive committee and presenting kind of the piece of work that you owned. And also a lot of problem solving with the partners and APs on the projects that we work on. So there'll be daily time built in with those with the partners to kind of get their thoughts on things and also have a more either top-down conversation about kind of the problems that we're facing and the various ways to kind of get past those roadblocks. And then obviously, I think throughout the day is interspersed with the variety of other things that people have going on. So, whether it is recruiting or other office activities that people are involved in, those things are kind of interspersed with the work there. But I know that people often have questions about what actually you're doing. So hopefully my view into that is helpful.
Yeah, actually, I could maybe add a little bit of color from my perspective on this, because this was a question that I had actually all the way up until I started my job very recently. Like, what do we do? It really does follow along the lines that Alex painted, but in terms of how it crafts to your own personal working style, I think that that resonates really strongly with me, because I am the exact opposite, and I start my day incredibly early. I'm up in the morning at probably 6, and I go to the gym because that's how I stay grounded. And I am an incredibly strong extrovert. So by the end of the day, I need to kind of spend at least 30 minutes or so with talking to friends or getting some energy out, interacting with people, and so all different types of folks find ways to fit how they work into the lifestyle here. But intro activities, it's a lot of client interaction. Some studies are spent really heavily doing problem solving and really trying to figure out kind of a conceptual problem, or in a model figuring out an analytical issue. As I mentioned before, the study that I'm on currently is a study where I'm coaching, and so really sitting side by side with the client and working towards different stage gates in this process that we're leading them through, and trying problem solving along the way, but really I've really enjoyed, and then also again getting involved in wonderful things like recruiting, but also the pro bono consulting work that we do, as well as connectivity events to getting to know your office, your local community. So interspersed with the work is really kind of how we develop the things we do, develop the community here, and fitting in lifestyles depending on how what that means for you. So it's a really flexible firm, and you reset when you join a new team, but the firm does a really great job and has really strong norms about catering that to each individual person.
Great.
Awesome. Great. Perfect. So I think we're at perfect timing to kind of roll into our Q&A, and I'm seeing so many great questions come through, and we're super excited to go ahead and get these answered. So Alex and Nick, and actually before we do that, Sasha, was there anything that you'd like to add to the conversation today before we jump into Q&A?
I think I'll wait until the end, but I will just say I know that there's a ton of information that we just downloaded on all of you, and we're not expecting you to remember any of it. But what we are hoping is that the information that we did provide to you, it gives you an insight into who we are as a firm and what we do. And we are also hopeful that you want to get to know us a little bit more. Towards the end of the call, I'll talk a little bit more about our FDLA program, which is our Freshman Diversity Leadership Academy. I'll definitely talk a little bit more about our SDLI program, which is our Sophomore Diversity Leadership Internship. And then hopefully during the next, hopefully we're able to answer any additional questions that you may have. But I'm super excited, again, that you guys joined. And hopefully we were able to help answer any questions you had type of mind in regards to consulting and McKinsey.
Great, perfect. So I have a list of questions here that you guys have been kind of throwing out. So I love the energy, love the enthusiasm and curiosity here. So Nick and Alex, I will kind of pinpoint you guys throughout for any questions that are consulting specific, and definitely any questions that they ask that are directly related to you. So let's start with our first question. Carol asked, when you mentioned corporate finance is based in New York, and I think this was Alex's topic, does it mean that no other locations work on financial projects?
Yeah, so I can take that one. So I think that to be part of the corporate finance project, I mean the corporate finance practice, that is based in New York, but a variety of other roles have a touch point with finance and do finance work. So I have been involved in a few projects where I do finance work, and I am not part of the corporate finance practice, and I could be a member of any office to do that. Being part of the corporate finance practice just means that you would be doing majority corporate finance work, but you can do finance work from any office at McKinsey.
Awesome. Great. Nick, would you mind talking a little bit about your travel schedule? How often do you travel as a consultant? Nick, do we still have you?
If Nick isn't there, I'm more than happy to take that one. So at the beginning of while I was working at McKinsey, I traveled a lot. I was on kind of back-to-back travel studies, one in Texas, another in Kansas City, another in Western Massachusetts. And those also kind of took on a variety of different forms of traveling. So the first project was a Tuesday through Thursday travel schedule. The second project was kind of that more traditional consultant travel schedule, Monday through Thursday. And the last one was kind of a little more varied depending on the week. So I think that, and recently I've actually mostly been on local projects within the New York area. So I think that the traveling definitely depends on the type of work that you are interested in doing and your projects. I think that one of the things that the firm is trying to do is have more flexible travel schedules in terms of making sure that when you are traveling, it is for, you aren't traveling to a place to not have any meetings there. The travel that you're doing is meaningful and worthwhile. And your preference towards travel is obviously always taken into account when you're deciding on a new project.
Awesome, exciting. Can either of you share one of the most memorable locations that you've been to?
Unless Nick, do you have a memorable location you want to share? I'll go ahead. So I think that I really did enjoy actually being in Kansas City. I was there for. Hey, Nick.
When the question, very, very strategically, yeah, what was it again?
Hey, Nick, so the question was, what was one of your more memorable locations for travel?
Oh, okay. Well, so I'm higher. So my travel portfolio currently only includes DC, which was my first, different from what it can be like. And currently, I am in Connecticut, enjoying a snow. So, depending on what your interest, particularly if you like insurance, you'll definitely be the Hartford area frequently.
Hey, Nick, this is Sasha. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. There is a delay and in your when you're talking.
Okay. I'll try to switch to a different Wi-Fi.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Sasha and Nick. Alex, do you want to chat about the culture at McKinsey, and what makes the culture at McKinsey unique?
Yeah, so one of the things that I think I like the most about McKinsey and that I have been the most surprised by is kind of the philosophy of the obligation to dissent. And this is kind of the belief that everyone in the room's opinion is valid and worthwhile listening to, whether it's in a senior executive meeting, whether it's in a team problem solving, kind of a whole variety of situations this applies to. And I think that the way that this really comes across is when you are having conversations with people about your opinion or about where your opinion might differ from others, people are always willing to listen to that difference and take it into account. And oftentimes, I think I had a recent situation where I felt like the process that we were going through is a little off in terms of the client needs. And I was really surprised that the partner on the project picked up on that immediately and took my opinion into consideration and changed the process by the end of the day based on that. So I think that it really just creates a very collegial atmosphere where everyone is very willing to share their opinions and excited to share their opinions and have a conversation around them, which is different than other work experiences that I've had.
Awesome, great. Nick, if you're back in, the question was, what makes you McKinsey's culture unique? Do you have any particular comments about your experience so far? Okay, so we'll wait for him to come back in. Alex, I'll give you a bit of a break. I know we've been rolling them out at
Hi,
you.
can you hear me?
Now we can, yes.
Wonderful. So another challenge of being a consultant is getting onto the internet. Murphy's Law tends to apply in terms of when you lose your internet connection. So I apologize for that. But I think what is really unique about McKinsey's culture, even when you compare it to, I used to compare it to other consulting firms, but even when you're thinking about it versus banking and versus some other types of opportunities, which I'm sure all you guys are getting really excited about, I think is A, our approach towards people, and B, our approach towards problem solving and the kind of intellectual process. I'll start with the intellectual process. What's really interesting about McKinsey is that, it's a caring meritocracy. So what that means is the best ideas are the ones that get pushed forward. And so you can be a BA and come in and really lean in on a problem and provide your opinion, and it's listened to. Like, people care about how you think about a problem. And so it's why we seek out really talented individuals, because we care about how they think through things. And so one of the firm's values is the obligation to dissent. And what that means is, if you don't agree with something, you have a forum when you problem solve and when you have your one-on-ones to really point out where you disagree. And I think that, in my experience as, I did a few different analyst programs, and particularly in banking, I'm a recovering banker, and the process there is really about getting you to learn the function and execute on the work. Consulting is really about learning how you think. And I think that just makes McKinsey such an incredible place to work and a dynamic place to work. And you bring that problem solving ability to just a ton of different types of situations, and it's incredible. The second piece is how we think about development. McKinsey is so unique in terms of how it really cares about your development, particularly BAs. I think it's really sweet. You come in as a BA, and you're introduced to any and every industry that you want, that you really want to get exposure to, from fashion to finance to tech to operations to finance, anything and everything you're studying now at school. And you get to dip your toe and develop skills that are transferable across all those different functions. But you're also provided mentors and a network to really round out your skill set, and the firm really invests a lot into developing their consultants. And so the opportunities to go to grad school, the opportunities to do secondments with different organizations, the extracurricular activities to expand what the firm does in terms of its recruiting, in terms of its community building, et cetera, really just helps build incredible, exceptional leaders. I'm really the most impressed. I mean, we have a lot of incredible partners, but I'm so impressed with the BAs that we bring in, especially the senior BAs, and they're 24, 25 years old, and what they've developed into in just 2 years out of school just blows me out of the water. I think I think a lot of programs develop specific skills. Like if you do banking, you're going to be an Excel whiz and you're going to really know finance. But I think the leadership development and intellectual development isn't the same. And so I think McKinsey is a really wonderful place for that.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. I have actually one other question for you, Nick, and it comes from Andre Fisher. And he asks, as a recent grad, could you speak about your journey to McKinsey and how you made the decision that this was the place for you?
Hi, Andre. Yeah, it's a really good question. It's very fresh. It was quite the journey indeed. So my background, like I said, I was a banker. I did sales and trading first, and then tried my way towards M&A. But after I did banking, I developed a passion for international development. My family's from Haiti, and so I got really excited about that. And I was like, how do I do that? How do I do that? And since I was in finance, I was like, well, I'll just do more investing, and I'll just go invest. And so I decided to go abroad for a little bit and work with entrepreneurs and in private equity and funding early businesses. And I spent some time in West Africa and South America, and saw a lot of wonderful opportunities in terms of how to add value. And the folks that I was working with were all former consultants and all former bankers. And I thought, okay, well, these guys really seem to know what they're doing, and I'm not quite there yet. So let me go to grad school and figure it out. Initially, I thought that it was going to be banking, since that was kind of the natural avenue for me to pursue. But when I got to Kellogg, which is where I did my MBA, my roommates were all consultants. They weren't at McKinsey, but they were all consultants, and they really sold me hard on the benefits of being a consultant. And again, it wasn't simply like the lifestyle's better. It was a lot about here's what you're going to develop into. Like, you're going to be able to solve a lot of different problems. And since my interests are really cut across a lot of different things, I mean, like the general area is development, but I think there's a lot of ways that you can do it, from the private sector. There's public sector issues, and so I thought consulting was really interesting, but I wasn't sure. I ended up talking to just a number of people. So starting with my friends that were in the consulting industry from undergrad and through my early experiences in banking that I met in New York, to my classmates, to folks that came to recruit at the school. I talked to a lot of people and did a lot of discerning. I talked to a lot of recruiters. That's where I met Sasha, who is my number one. I give her a shout out whenever possible. So she was also another person that I had really great conversations with, particularly about why McKinsey was wonderful. And so throughout that process, I kept my options open, and I actually ended up doing banking for my summer, and it was actually an incredible experience. But with M&A, doing the same thing over and over and over again and becoming better and better and better at it. And so I was like, well, I'll leave school and I'll be really good at finance, and I'll have a career just doing finance. And then at the beginning of my second year, I was like, well, is that really what I want to be in 5 to 10 years? I don't think I know yet. And I think that consulting will give me more optionality as I move through. And so I decided to recruit in the fall for consulting again, and I ended up getting an offer. And hindsight's 2020, but I'm very glad I made that decision instead. I think already my experiences here have been just so different from what I've experienced before. And again, speaking to the areas of the firm that I find so invaluable, really have helped me think about myself in a different way as a professional. And so, it was a long process, and you can get started early by doing the FDLA program now. But again, I think the firm is very open to folks having different ideas for what they want to do in their careers, and so it's good on you guys to be starting that conversation now.
And I think just to add on to that, I think I was also similarly unsure about consulting and whether it was a good fit for me when I was in my first year at business school. I had come from a background in media. I knew I was still interested in media, but I wasn't sure whether consulting was going to be the right fit for me. And I think through a lot of different conversations, I applied to do a summer internship. And I think that really kind of solidified it for me. I think having that experience working, on the team and seeing, I think the summer experiences are very similar to what the full-time experiences are like. You are just a member of a team, the BA or the associate. In many cases, my clients didn't even know that I was a summer. And I think that really helped me understand kind of what that job looked like and the different types of problems we'd be solving, and also just kind of a little bit more about the people and how interesting they were, and how interesting conversations with them were, which really solidified my decision to come back full time. And I think all those things have been true full time as well.
That's awesome. Really great. So I know that we are right at the 9 o'clock mark, and we did get started just a little bit behind. So we'll wrap up with a few questions that pertains to what happens next for you all. And we'll start out with freshmen, and then we'll go up to our sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and any other folks who might be interested in graduate opportunities, if you guys are on the line as well. So our next opportunity that is available is, again, the Freshman Diversity Leadership Academy. It's happening April 6th through the 7th. It's a 1.5-day event in Norwalk, Connecticut. Again, the application deadline is this Sunday at 11:59 p.m. ET. I did get a question in the box. Is this opportunity only available to freshmen? Yes, that is correct. This is only for freshmen. However, we do have programs for students at different tenures. So we'll chat about our sophomore diversity leadership internship program as well. We also got a few questions around what events McKinsey hosts for women and folks who are interested in or identify as LGBTQ. Sasha, do you want to chime in here and share a little bit more about what these opportunities look like at each level, and what does McKinsey look for, whether you're a freshman, a sophomore, junior, or senior, in terms of joining the team?
Absolutely, Erica. And I hope you guys can hear me and I'm not breaking up. So I'll try to make this quick. As Erica mentioned, in a couple of weeks, we'll be hosting our Freshman Diversity Leadership Academy. This program was started last year, so this is our second year hosting this event. It's an amazing, amazing event. It's an opportunity for you to spend a day and a half with McKinsey consultants to learn more about, in detail, about what we do and who we are. I would encourage any freshmen that are on the webinar to apply. Even though there are limited spaces and you may or may not be selected to attend, there's an opportunity, right, for us to have your resumes. That's an additional touch point that we will have for you going forward in your career as being a college student. So we will definitely stay in connection with you, and as we are hosting spring events leading into summer and fall recruiting attraction. So if you have any questions in regards to the Freshman Diversity Leadership Academy, I do encourage you to use the link on this page. You can read in more detail about what the program entails, what you will get out of it. And you can also reach out to myself and Erica, and we're happy to do one-on-one calls to talk more about it. One thing that I definitely want to stress is that the application is this Sunday. So if there is, if you are excited about applying, please do so before midnight on Sunday. And again, that program is for Black, Hispanic, Latinos, and/or Native Americans, and it is for freshmen only. In regards to our SDLI, so there will be a lot of acronyms that I'm using, so please forgive me. Our SDLI program, Diversity Leaders Internship Program, and that is focused on our sophomores. And again, it's a diversity internship. So again, focus on Blacks, Hispanic, Latinos, and Native Americans. Any of our summer internship programs, they're 10-week programs. So that's our SDLI program. That's our summer business analysts, which are focused on juniors, and it's open to everyone. It's a 10-week internship. You will come to McKinsey for 10 weeks. You have the opportunity to work on client work. It's client-facing work. You have the opportunity to work on teams. And it's most importantly, it's an opportunity for you to get an idea of two things. One is what we do here at McKinsey and what consulting is about. And I think most important, let me add on another one, is you'll get to work with consultants here and have an opportunity after your 10 weeks of, do I want to work at McKinsey full time? So again, if it's not McKinsey and it's another firm, I encourage any freshmen, sophomore, and juniors to take every opportunity to do an internship. Get to know the firm, ask the questions, and get what you need to get out of it to know if consulting or banking or whatever the field industry is something that you will want to do. And again, like I mentioned before, we have our summer business analysts, and those are for juniors, and anyone can apply to that role. But again, it's just another internship. Our SDLI program, if I can go back to that, is a 2-year program. So you will come to us one summer, and if you're successful after those 10 weeks, you will have a returning offer to come back the following summer as a summer business analyst. The program has changed over the years where depending on how you do after your 10 weeks as an SDLI, you can receive a full-time offer, which means that you do not have to come back to McKinsey the following summer. You can do something different and then accept your offer and come to us after you graduate. So there's a lot of opportunities there, and happy again to talk more about that on a one-on-one call, if you have any more questions after the webinar. And then in regards to diversity as a whole, I know there were some questions about women activities, about our GLAM recruiter. Happy to introduce anyone to her as well. There will be a GLAM summit that will take place. I want to say I think it's April 6th and 7th, the same days as our FDLA program or the week after. But if you visit our careers website and put in your school, you will find all of the information there in regards to FDLA and the GLAM summit that's going to be taking place in April as well. Again, I encourage you to get to know us as we want to get to know you. Please ask the questions. Please reach out to us. We will be hosting spring attractions on a source level as well as diversity. So any opportunity to get to learn more about consulting, I encourage you to do so. Any additional questions? I know we are at 9:07 and we'll be wrapping up soon, but happy to stay on longer if we can to answer any questions that you may have.
Great, thanks, Sasha. I'm gonna go through our chat for any last questions that the group may have. There are some questions around opportunities for MBA candidates. Sasha, did you want to chime in on what the MBA experience is like, or if we can connect those folks with the recruiting team for MBA?
Is the question around MBA recruiting or MBA as far as coming in full time?
Yeah, are there any events for MBA students and they are interested in full-time positions?
Okay, so the short answer to that is absolutely. As far as recruiting concerned, we do a lot of our attraction, especially for MBA, in the fall. And we also have an emerging scholars program, and those are for first year MBA. So those that are, going into their MBA program their first year. And that should be the application for that. If I have any MBA first years on the line, the application for that should be open, I think, in the next few weeks. Again, that's another program to get to know us, the firm. And then there's winners, and there's a scholarship that comes out of that, a merit scholarship that comes out of that as well. So again, if there are any additional questions regarding the Emerging Scholars Program, we'll be handing out our email addresses. So you'll have that, and just feel free to reach out to us. Happy to provide any additional information around that. But any campus attraction event happens in the fall for any MBA students we have on the line.
Awesome, great. Thank you. Well, Alex and Nick, thank you so much for your time today. Handshake, thank you as well for hosting us. To the students out there, thank you all for listening in and watching in. We will definitely share our contact information in the chat box. So I'll be sharing my information, and Sasha, if you're okay, I will share your information as well for folks to reach out if you have questions about our undergraduate programming, especially FDLA or SDLI, and we will follow up with you there. But thank you all so much for attending. Please keep an eye out on your school website page, and even through Handshake for any events that are coming up from McKinsey. We will definitely be having more virtual events this spring, summer, and fall. So you'll have multiple ways to connect and engage with us. Again, the deadline for FDLA, our freshman programming, is this Sunday. So please apply if you're interested. If you want to learn a little bit more and connect with us on a more personal level, please apply. But other than that, thank you all and have a great night.